Mr. Abernathy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Let us pray. Lord, we offer you our thanks and praise, and we ask for your continued blessing as a nation, as a community, and as a public school system. We ask that you be with our students and teachers through the year, grant them safety, but also grant them a willingness to learn, and we ask for their success. We pray for Suzanne Rampy's husband, who has been ill but seems to be recovering. Again, we ask for your forgiveness. Lord, we pray this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Mr. McGinnis, would you lead us in the pledge?
We can do it. Everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Grid, at this time, as superintendent remarks, item number 6 on the agenda, so I'll turn it over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Frank. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, folks visiting with us tonight, our principals, directors. August is always an exciting month for our students and families and our entire school community. Our early college students started last Thursday, and our athletic programs have already held their first scrimmage and games. We're excited to welcome all the traditional calendar students back on August the 24th. As we prepare for another school year, I want to recognize the many people who have worked throughout the summer to make the first day possible. Our bus drivers and transportation staff have prepared routes and buses to safely get our students to school. Our cafeteria staff have our kitchens ready. Our custodians and maintenance teams have worked throughout the summer to prepare our buildings, and our technology staff have been making sure our networks, devices, and systems are ready. And of course, our teachers and our administrators, who have spent their summers preparing classrooms, planning lessons, attending professional development, hiring staff, and getting everything in place for a successful year. To everyone working behind the scenes, thank you. It takes an entire team to open schools and prepare them to serve our students, and we are grateful to each of you. We are also grateful for our community partners. Our friends at Operation Backpack are celebrating their 28th year of providing backpacks to students in need. That's just one example of the many people and organizations who come to invest in our children. A new school year also brings transitions and occasionally challenges. With nearly 6,000 students and 1,100 employees, we won't always get everything right. At our last board meeting, a gentleman came before the board regarding a student transfer issue. Following the meeting, we realized that he had been given incorrect information about the transfer process. Thankfully, we were able to get the situation resolved. I share that because sometimes we miss a step. But when we don't get it right, we want to make it right. Parents, please reach out to your child's school when you have a question or concern. Our teachers and administrators are here to help, and we want to partner with you every step of the way. There's also a tremendous amount to celebrate within our district this year. The class of 2026 earned an 88% graduation rate, the highest in the history of McDowell County Schools. And I know y'all have heard me say that, but what I've got to say in just a minute is even more impressive. This is an incredible accomplishment and a goal we have been chasing for years. We set a 2-year goal of reaching 90%, and we are now closer than we have ever been. But I have to tell you, our current seniors, the class of 2027, are already on pace to challenge that record with the potential to be among the best in the state. I also believe they have the potential to earn more college credentials and degrees than any graduating class before them. Goals are meant to be reached and then exceeded. And when you start reaching and exceeding your goals, people notice. I'm excited to announce that our friends at Appalachian State University have noticed our progress. At the end of this month, we will have the honor of welcoming Chancellor Norris to McDowell County. She is coming to learn more about our community and explore how Appalachian State can partner with us, and we're excited to share the incredible work that's happening within our schools. I believe we have built tremendous momentum in McDowell County schools. We have incredible students, dedicated teachers and staff, supportive families, and a community that believes in our children. Our goal is not simply to be the best school system in McDowell County. Our goal is to become one of the best systems in North Carolina. And I truly believe we are on our way. As you can see, August is an exciting month for our students and our schools and our community. And sir, on a personal note, if I may take a moment of privilege. Today, August the 10th, is my 29th wedding anniversary. Just as many of our families know, I know that my wife is watching at home, like so many of us. Our spouses and family make sacrifices so that we may do the work that we do. And for that, I want to take a moment to say thank you. Michelle, thank you for standing beside me, supporting me, and sharing this journey with me. I love you, and I look forward to the next 29 years with you by my side. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Well, that was quite the remark, sir. Thank you. At this time, item number 7 on the agenda is Teacher Representative Ms. Blake. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here. I've known you for a long time. I love your family, and I'm going to turn it over to you and make us all proud, okay?
I'll try. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, good evening, Mr. Frank and Dr. Gritt, members of the board. Thanks for having me. My name is Jennifer Blake, and I'm honored to be McDowell County Schools Teacher of the Year. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to spend a few minutes with you. This year, I'd like to invite you into the classrooms through a series called Every Student Has a Story. Each month, you will hear directly from the students that make up McDowell County Schools, and together we'll discover the people, relationships, and experiences behind the work that we do every day. So tonight, I'd like to begin by sharing why I chose this theme. So why stories matter. So every month, this board reviews reports, budgets, policies, data, things that matter because they help us measure the progress and the growth of our schools. But there's something that numbers alone can't capture. They can't show us the student who discovered a love of reading because a teacher took their time with them. They can't show us a middle school student who found confidence because they found the club that fit them just right. They can't show us the future welder who realized that they had a career waiting for them because of CTE classes. They can't show us the athlete that learned resilience, or the artist who found their voice, or the student leader who discovered that serving others gave them a perfect purpose. These moments live in the stories of our students. Every statistic that we celebrate begins with a student. Every initiative that we invest in touches a life. And every decision made in this room eventually becomes part of our student stories. So over the next 10 months, I hope to bring those stories into this room, not because they replace the data, but because they give meaning. My hope is that together we'll see McDowell County Schools through the eyes of our students. So because school hasn't started yet, I'm going to share a story this evening from a student story that changed this teacher's story. So several years ago, I was teaching 2nd grade. I was at Eastfield Elementary, and it was the middle of the year, and anyone who is an elementary school teacher or has been in elementary knows the stress that that time of year brings with middle of the year reading assessments. And I was sitting with a student one afternoon, and I was really excited to assess him that day. He had been working so hard, and I just knew that we were just going to show tremendous growth. Well, I could tell something wasn't right. Something seemed to be bothering him, and he wasn't doing so great. So I stopped the assessment, and I said, "Hey, man, like, what's up? You okay? Something on your mind?" He got real quiet, and he just kind of hung his head, and he said, "Miss Blake, I'm just real sad today. My grandma's dying." And I knew this to be true. His mom had talked to me before, and him and his grandma were pretty close. And so I said, "Bud, I'm real sorry. It's hard to focus on reading when your heart's really sad." And he got quiet, and he thought for a minute, and he looked at me, and he said, "It's going to be okay. My mom told me that my grandma's going to heaven. I said, your mom's a really smart lady. And so he thought for another minute, and he looked at me, and he said, Miss Blake, do you believe in heaven? So I answered him honestly, and I said, yes, I do. And he smiled, the biggest smile that I have ever seen. And I wish I could tell you the student's name, but I won't. But if you know him, his face can light up a room. And he said, good, because when I see you in heaven, I'm going to give you the biggest hug. And I have never forgotten that conversation with that student, because before that day and before that moment, I was really worried about my growth. I was worried about my data. I was worried about the schedule of trying to get my M class finished in time. And that little boy wasn't thinking about any of those things that day. Now, if you ask him now, he probably couldn't tell you what his reading fluency level was or his lexile or any of that stuff. But he was thinking about somebody he loved, and it was on his mind. In that moment, I realized that what he said shaped the way I teach now forever. Years from now, my students probably won't remember a reading assessment I gave them. They won't remember the worksheets that they completed or a math problem that we solved together. But hopefully they'll remember that they felt safe, they felt valued, and they felt loved. So when that student looked at me and said that I was going to get the biggest hug when he saw me in heaven, I realized that day that that's the kind of teacher I wanted to be. I want to be remembered, not because, again, that I gave a great test or I taught a great lesson, but because they felt seen, cared for, and loved. It changed me that day. So it reminded me that every student who walks through our doors has a story. Sometimes we know them, sometimes we don't. But if we listen to them, their stories can shape us just as much as we try every day to shape them. So that's why this year's presentation is called Every Student Has a Story. So throughout the year, we'll be focusing on different topics. We're going to meet kindergarten readers, discovering their joy of books, middle school students, finding where they belong, artists, athletes, students overcoming obstacles, students preparing for college and careers. Their stories will be different, but they will all answer the same question. What does it mean to be a student in McDowell County Schools? So I'm going to close this evening, and I'd like to leave you with a final thought. Before you were board members, educators, administrators, parents, community leaders, we were all students. Take a moment this evening to think back to your own school experience. Who made you feel seen? When did you feel included? When was that moment that you were like, this is my place? My hope is that over the next year, the stories you hear from our students will not only help you to know them better, but it'll also remind each of us why we chose to be part of public education. Because every day in classrooms across McDowell County, we're helping write the stories of our students that they will carry with them for the rest of their lives. Thank you, and I look forward to sharing those stories with you this year.
Okay, at this time, item number 8 on the agenda is request to address the board. And we have a request, and if Dr. Owens is here. Oh, there he is, okay. Okay, Dr. Owens, it's good to see you again. Glad you're here. And go ahead and stand up at the podium. I got some things I got to do, as you well know. And I'm going to kind of change it up a little bit tonight. I'm going to give you a different version of what I'm going to read to you. But at this time, Board, I'll entertain a motion to give Dr. Owens an opportunity to speak. So,
Make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
okay, we have a motion by Mr. Shuford and a second by Mr. Allison to allow the person to speak tonight to the board. Is there any further discussion on the request to address the board in public comment? With no further discussion, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand, which is a unanimous 9 vote. And at this time, Mr. Owen, public comment is a time for the board to hear from folks regarding issues related to the McDowell County School District. We ask that folks be mindful that we encourage families with small children to attend our meetings and watch our meetings online. We respect the right of speakers to give us their viewpoint on any issues related to the schools. However, we do not balance those rights with the rights of families of young children when it comes to public comment. We ask that speakers make their points without making explicit comments. It is not appropriate or permissible for teachers in our schools to read explicit material to young children, and doing so in public comment is not appropriate either. In addition to public comment, the public is welcome to send the board emails through the superintendent. And at this time, Dr. Owen, of course, you know the timekeeper. You got 3 minutes, and we're looking forward to what you got to say, sir.
Chairman Frank, the first thing I'd like to do is address the stunt that was pulled after I finished speaking at the last meeting. Having the board attorney come up and make comment on what I had to say, basically saying that there was no wrongdoing. An attorney who works for the board and is an advocate for the school system, they're certainly not going to get up in front of this camera and say words that are going to be counterproductive for you. In fact, if you robbed a bank and you hired an attorney, that attorney would not go on TV and say, he's guilty, he did it. What the attorney would say is, there's a whole lot of information, we're trying to get to this information, he is innocent, we're going to prove that. So that was really cute, but it didn't work. The public does understand that the attorney works for y'all, and he's going to advocate for you. Superintendent Gritt, since March, I've asked you multiple times, originally to sit down and have a conversation with yourself, a teacher, and a principal, which you denied. I've also asked you to go to lunch, which you refused. If those had happened, we would be in a much different place today. But while they were ignored and refused, the public information request delays cannot be acceptable. Those are lawful and must be done. With those delays, there was supposed to be a closed session, private, confidential meeting, and you intentionally did not give up information that was very important for that meeting. So I ask you, if you're hiding something from the events that occurred December 5th, what else are you hiding? What else are you doing? Over the past week, I've received multiple phone calls from people that are very close to people in this room asking me to back off. I kind of find that insulting, because those same people, if they'd have gone to you, Dr. Gritt, their information, their request, the investigation would have been handled way differently, and that is inappropriate. I ask the same for my family, that you would have given respect for them, and that's inappropriate. I recognize that my requests for information are broad, and they've been incredibly delayed, but I did get some today. And in that request, there are 2 pages out of several thousand pages that actually prove there was never an investigation. You probably ought to take a look at that information, because there was never an investigation, and y'all gave the information up today to prove that that is very, very accurate. It's not if my requests are convenient or inconvenient, it is they are facts that you have to provide, and you have not, until this point, not. And there's still a whole lot of information out there. I still want to have a conversation with the board in that closed session confidential meeting, because today gave up just enough. I still have a major, Dr. Gritt, you sent me a very intimidating email that I've asked both. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it. Okay, item number 9 on the agenda is unfinished business, and Dr. Gritt, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
All right, at this time, we'll invite up Mr. Marsh for an operations and facilities update.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Gritt, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen. As always, it's a privilege to come before the board to be able to report on just a handful of things that are going on within the directorates that fall under my purview. And this summer has been a wonderful opportunity for many of those folks to get a lot done, and so I very much appreciate their work. Also want to say, I know the members of the board are incredibly busy. Everybody has something going on with families and work, and I appreciate the individuals who either been asking questions or followed up on things from the summer, or who were able to take a tour last week when we did some of the viewing of things that are going on here in the county, and I just really appreciate that, because there's so much that's happening. If you really don't get to put your hands on it, it's hard to really appreciate everything that's happening. So Mr. Rodney Wheeler and his staff at Transportation have been working hard, and we've got our buses ready to go for the upcoming school year, traditional school year, and I appreciate their work. Mr. Barry Hill, who's here with us tonight, and his staff continue to do the lion's share of the heavy lifting involved in getting our information and technology systems up to speed. And I want to continue to say how much I appreciate his willingness to step forward and take on tasks that are probably not outlined in a traditional information and technology director's position. He works very hard on our safety, and I appreciate him doing so. Child nutrition. Some of you may have noticed that Mr. Haynes released this past week that for yet another year, the students in McDowell County Schools will enjoy free breakfast and lunch. And so as part of the Community Eligibility Program, or CEP, and just wonderful the efforts of Mr. Haynes and his staff continue to make sure that our kids go home every day with a full belly. In athletics, I want to say again how much I appreciate the board's support. Friday night, despite a tremendous amount of rain, we had a training session of about 2.5 hours prior to the scrimmage, and then we stood in the rain with members of administration under a tent, and we received fans and patrons into the scrimmage game through metal detection devices, and we instituted the clear bag procedure. I absolutely, and again, I'll be happy to listen to anybody's points, but everything that we received thus far has been very positive. They have been very appreciative of the efforts that went forward to do so, and it was a great undertaking. So I really appreciate the individuals from School Specialty who came out, spent the entire day not only training or afternoon training us, but stood there shoulder to shoulder with us in the rain to make sure that everything went off on track, and it was really great. So I really appreciate their efforts. Auxiliary Services, Mr. Vaughn and his staff, as I mentioned last month, now are in the short rows, as we say, from working over the summer, and have been painting, cleaning, overseeing capital projects, and repairing facilities and improving our grounds. Our HVAC projects are nearing completion. HVAC Project 225 is nearing completion. That included the installation of equipment at Marion, Glenwood, and West Middle, and piping insulation work. The walkthrough has been completed, and we are beginning to start putting in some of our ceiling panels at McDowell High School as part of that. So that was a big undertaking. And one of the things that we really could not have anticipated was the amount of ceiling tiles that ended up being damaged. So as we took those ceiling tiles down to be able to expose the piping behind it, what we figured out is that those ceiling tiles were basically destroyed. So many of those ceiling tiles broke in the contractor or our hands, and so we're having to replace those. So we expected those to get replaced here in the next upcoming weeks. And the new rooftop unit for the auditorium at East McDowell Middle School, and I know Ms. Kaler is happy to hear that, has been on order, and we've been told that's gonna get here, Ms. Kaler. I was asked about, well, what are we going to do, Chad, because it's going to get here till probably October timeframe, it looks like. And so I want you to know, ma'am, that we're not going to hold up any of your special events. I've instructed our folks to go ahead and use some bubble gum and duct tape to try to keep it going there. So we may use a little Freon, but we're going to keep it running and try to keep it cool for the next couple months so we can press on. All of our LVT and flooring projects are completed. Again, it's just as a reminder, that includes West Marion, Pleasant Gardens, West Middle, and McDowell High School. And having been able to hold a training session in the library or media center at McDowell High School, I can tell you firsthand, it is absolutely beautiful in there. One of the things we were a little concerned about was acoustics, but it's quiet as a mouse in there. Even as loud as I am, Dr. Gritt had come in while we were having our coaches meeting on last Monday, and he couldn't hear, my fat mouth up there just running, and he couldn't even hear it when he walked in. So that just goes to show you that the acoustics in there are still solid. So we're very happy about that. Our concrete project, 126, is underway at McDowell High School, and if you've seen the entryway there, it's sometimes it's hard to look at the oak tree and see the kitchen table, but it's really encouraging to see all of that work that's going on there. because, for too long, it has been one of those deals where it's just difficult sometimes to get up some of those stairs because they were 1972 stairs, right? And that means they're more narrow and they're more steep. And so by being able to take those stairs out that were falling apart, and Mrs. Whitman can tell you, and then going in there and putting ramps and putting in handrails, it's just going to really bring that a whole new feel. And what's really going to make it is accessible for everybody. And that's really what's important. So we're looking forward to seeing that improvement come to fruition. Dr. Gritt and I were talking a little bit today about our project at West Middle and High School. If you've driven through there, you've seen a tremendous amount of work going on. I do want to report to the board that there are 21 days of rain that have been documented in the work log there. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're behind. What I will report to the board is that we are still on track and within budget. But again, remember, we're delayed a little while working on our contract, and so now we expect that to be happening, sometime in the November, December timeframe, that project will be wrapping up. But if you, by the other day, you saw them laying block over top of metal to be able to set our sign. And so we're really excited about that, and we feel like it's progressing very nicely. And then, as the board well knows, Mr. McMurray presented last month, and since presenting, we have taken copies of that artistic rendering, and we have laid it out at Marion Elementary, at Eastfield Global Magnet School, and here at Central Office, so that we want the public to get excited, as we all have been for a while. We want them to feel our excitement and to see it. And I've personally gone by and met with each one of our wonderful principals, spoke to them and some of their staff members about, okay, this is the front, this is the back, this is the side, and kind of give them the speech so that they can deliver that during their open houses, or just when curious parents or guardians may stop by and just ask questions. So really excited about that, and looking forward to seeing that continue to grow. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my report, sir, barring any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Martin? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Gritt, I understand, and we know that Ms. Rampy's not here, so you're going to fill in for her
Yes, sir.
the best you can, okay?
Yes, sir. All right, fresh off the bench for finance here. So first off, I want to take an opportunity, a moment of privilege. Mr. Marsh's team's done an incredible job this year. There's a number of projects going on. It's a lot to manage. I know Jeff Vaughn and the work that team has done, and looking at that board that he's got in his office where he's keeping up with all those projects, there's a lot going on. We appreciate it. Certainly understand the weather has been a little bit of a barrier, and understand that. So as we do begin the school year, you are going to notice that there'll still be some barriers and some mud in some places, but we're working through that, and ultimately when we get those projects done, we're going to be in such better shape than where we are. I also want to take one more moment of privilege to say, Ms. Blake, welcome. You did a fantastic job. One of the things that I asked of Ms. Blake was, if at all possible, can you bring the classroom to the boardroom? And folks, I think she really did bring the classroom to the boardroom. Stories like what you told today are exactly what we're looking for. And I think it's so important that we do share our stories with our kids. And that was a special one. Thank you. All right, and the finance update, if we will. I think I could see all these. As I was stepping in to do this tonight, I thought, well, normally I print myself off one, but I'm going to go with my glasses tonight. I think I can see that. So we've got several things going on here. We did receive the 2-year state budget that was signed into law on July the 7th. We did have our salary increases. We were really tight on the timeline, but those did go in place during the July session. And board, during that time, there was a time period where I wasn't sure they were going to make it in July or not, but they did make it in there. On average, our teachers saw an 8% certified increase. And for our non-certified and our administrators, central office folks, they saw a 3% increase based on what the state. And of course, you all know we have local positions as well as state positions. We're still working through exactly what that's going to look like. It'll be a little bit of time before we get all that solid. I will tell you the bonuses that were part of that schedule, those will be paid out in October. And we're waiting on clarification on the technical procedures. And I will briefly go into this as much as I can, just kind of dip my toes in it. Obviously, I'm not going to give you as close of an example as Ms. Rampy would. But with those bonuses, those are paid from the state to our employees who are paid from state funds. We have a number of employees who are paid from local funds. We also match that bonus for them. In this budget, the state has recognized the burden on some local dollars and has chimed in that there are going to be certain groups that they help us pay for. Custodians was one of those. So I haven't gotten, and again, that's part what that clarification is all about, is getting the information there so we will know and know exactly how much that will impact our local dollar. So I say all that to say our next steps here are what is that next, that amount that's being calculated for the local hit that we will actually take based on the raises. And it's one of those that we have a finance committee on the 26th. Ms. Rampy's got that scheduled up, so I know you folks on the finance committee, you'll get a good dose of it there. And then we have a board work session on the 31st. And the goal by the 31st is to really have all this laid out. So I've asked Ms. Rampy to be able to handle it from the finances side, and I've also asked Ms. Daddle and her team to be able to talk about the positions and what it looks like on her side. Because ultimately we want to look at the amount of positions that we've reduced, where we stand budget for the upcoming year, and be prepared to have conversations with our folks on Main Street in the January time frame. And I think that we'll have plenty of opportunity to be able to do that. Additional updates, approximately $708,000 will be received this month for expenses for the fiscal year 2026, and that's on Hurricane Helene, and a lot of those are payments coming back to us for things that we've expended. This last one is an interesting one here. As part of the state budget, there was a paid parental leave change, and the state has went from an 8-week now to a 12-week period. Ms. Daddle got some clarification on this from Department of Public Instruction today. And it will not go into effect until the 1st of October. Even though the budget was passed in July, things were signed into law. This is part of that technical correction and the technical issues where they're trying to get these things in place. And you know, it's one of those, from someone who is a new grandfather here, you certainly want to see those folks have their time to be able to take with their children. But I know that we may have some folks during the interim who have a child, and it's not before October 1st, and they're going to be it'll be the 8-week leave, and if they're after October 1st, then they will be eligible for the 12-week. So I do want to point that out. There will be some additional expense. I think Ms. Rampy will be able to calculate what some of those expenses will be for us, and that will be part of what she goes over on the 31st as well. And Ms. Frank, that concludes the report from Finance, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys may have, or as much as I can.
Well, Mr. Shuford's gonna give us a in-depth report after the meeting on the 26th, correct?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're actually gonna make preparations to really lay things out the way that we need to address in our session on the 31st. And if I might add on a personal note, in addition for praying for him every day, I was blessed with the opportunity to see Mr. Rampy yesterday, and I got to see he and Suzanne at church. So they've been through some very difficult weeks, and please continue to remember them in your thoughts and prayers.
Thank you, Mr. Shuford.
Sir, under new business, do you want to go ahead and call Ms. Daddle up?
Yes, sir. Ms. Daddle, if you want to come on up. Policy update.
Good evening, Mr. Frank, Mr. Abernathy, members of the board, Dr. Grid, esteemed guests. In your packet are the updated spring policies. We held a policy committee meeting on July 22nd. Ms. Helms led our meeting, and we went over all the spring policies. All policies included in your first read in your packet were due to state legislation and general statute. We also had included several different minor changes in a few of the policies, but also included, we did have 2 revisions that were suggested by our attorney that we did review, and that was hearings before the board. The policy revision that we proposed just has it very specific about how a hearing is conducted, and it has all the information included in policy for us to follow. Our second attorney revision was really on a regulation, and that was 4342, and that went hand in hand with our clear bag procedure that we will be doing for athletics. So this is just, that's not really a policy, it's a regulation for a policy, but we did want to bring that up and present that. So in your packet was your Reader's Digest version of this to make it a little bit easier for reading. And so I just wanted to open up and entertain any questions that you may have.
Anybody got any questions for Ms. Dattle on the policies? Okay, we got 2 more reads, correct?
Yes, sir. One more read.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'd just like to thank the policy committee. Ms. Helms does a fantastic job along with our members. We always have really great discussions, and the focus is always on what's best for students and our staff. So I'm very thankful for that. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Dattle, right on our heels, we know that there are some more policies that are already being looked at that were part of the budget, because often things get bundled into that. So those will be coming through. First, the School Boards Association, and then our attorneys, Campbell and Shatley, will be reviewing them and getting back information for us. But I think the policy committee stay ready to be revved up for a little while. Next up, sir, we have Ms. Crystal Hamby with the Federal Programs Plan and Budget.
Good evening, Chairman Frank, members of the board, and Dr. Gritt. Tonight it is my pleasure to present the proposed 26-27 Federal Programs Plan and Budget for McDowell County Schools. I appreciate the opportunity to provide an overview of the federal funding we anticipate receiving these funds that will support our students, staff, and schools. We'll begin tonight with our Title I, our supplemental funds for schools serving a high percentage of economically disadvantaged students. We anticipate receiving just a little over $1.7 million. The majority of these funds are allocated directly to our schools, providing staff beyond their regular allotment, supplemental instructional materials and supplies, professional development, and meaningful parent and family engagement opportunities. Upon your approval, the schools will receive more than $1.4 million to support these priorities. Also included in the documents that you received tonight is a summary of our Title I district-wide instructional initiatives, which outlines the services, the support that we will provide across the district. Are there any questions about our Title I funds and Title I planning allotment?
You did say that total is about 2.2 million.
It's 1.7 million with 1.4 of that 1.7 going to schools.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Also included in your summary is our Title II, which is designed to strengthen teaching and school leadership. We anticipate receiving approximately $248,503. These funds will support our continued focus on increasing teacher effectiveness, reducing class size where appropriate, and strengthening leadership capacity. In addition, Title II provides ongoing professional learning opportunities for teachers and administrators to support continuous improvements. We also have our Title III funding, and this fund is dedicated to supporting our English learners. We anticipate receiving approximately $52,511, which will be used to provide ML instructional assistance, instructional resources, and professional development to better meet the needs of our multi-language learners. Each year, we also reserve a portion of our Title I funds to support students experiencing homelessness through our McKinney-Vento program. For the 26-27 school year, we have allocated $45,000 above what they receive in the McKinney-Vento program to provide case management and address barriers that may prevent our most vulnerable students from fully accessing their education. In our final pot of federal funds that I supervise, we anticipate receiving $132,343 through our Title IV funds. These funds support well-rounded education opportunities, safe and healthy learning environments for us here in McDowell, and we utilize these funds to strengthen behavioral support and student wellness initiatives across our schools. These federal resources play a vital role in ensuring that all students have access to academic support, services, and opportunities they need to be successful. At this time, I would be happy to answer any additional questions that you may have about our federal funds.
Mr. Frank's question is when you combine everything total, a little more than $2 million.
Yes.
And the question he asked, and this is part of what we had from the auditors the other day, the federal dollars, have they been released to us this year at this point?
To my knowledge, we have not received those allocations. We are still in a planning allotment phase.
And those generally come in the October timeframe is
Usually
when we
around.
usually get them.
Yes.
And we have had delays in the past based on what Washington does with their budget. So there's been some continuations there, and we're mindful of that. And that also, the federal dollars can also affect Head Start and child nutrition as well. So.
Yes, and we also receive EC federal funding as well. That's correct.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve federal programs plan and budget.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make that motion that we approve the 2026-2027 federal programs plan and budget as presented by Ms. Hamby.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Shuford and a second by Mr. Baker to approve the 2026-2027 federal programs plan and budget. Is there any further discussion at this time? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand, which is a unanimous vote. And Ms. Hamby, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, and I want to also take this opportunity to say thank you to all of our stakeholders who've worked diligently this year to provide input on our plan. And also, this is a year for federal monitoring, so on March the 3rd, we will be monitored, and we look forward to that and the support and all the hard work that our schools are doing. So thank you for always supporting us through these funds and helping to work with us to meet the needs of our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, at this time, under number 10, board reports, Mr. Suzzle, you have anything for curriculum and instruction?
No, it's August 10th. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Get ready for battle, right? So that's all I got.
Mr. Barksdale, building and grounds?
No, sir.
Mr. Shuford, I think you pretty well updated us on finance, but do you have
Yes, sir.
anything else?
No further.
Ms. Helms, looks like work's cut out for you for policy. You got anything to add to it? All right, at this time, other representatives' updates, and I have asked Mr. McGinnis to update us on the boot camp for the ROTC and anything you have from ROTC.
Yes, sir. I talked with Master Chief Grossman over the weekend. He also sent us some information. But between July 20 and 25th, they they completed their student leadership training, what they call it. But it's 6 days of just continuous drill, and they've got all kinds of physical challenges. They've got marksmanship and just different kind of skills. They got the COPES course, high course, and all that stuff, which some of y'all are familiar with. But there was 86 cadets total. 22 of them come from McDowell High. There was 11 schools represented total. They had 15 chaperones. And at that camp, whenever they're doing activities, they also have Boy Scouts of America. They have a, I guess you'd call it a liaison that's with them. It's part of their camp policy. But The cadets are well looked after. It's a very challenging week. They come out of that and they're ready to go. They take leadership roles directly in the program. This past Saturday, they had a car show, and if you missed out on that, they had some awesome rides up. Excuse me, but they had all kinds of cars and stuff, and I understood they raised about $1,200 in that endeavor, and that helps them just to offset costs for stuff they do through the year. They will take a trip to Washington, D.C., hopefully later in November. That's what they normally plan, and they take their cadets with them, and what I like about that is they require the cadets that go to the Washington trip to pass a citizenship test, just like somebody would pass a citizenship test to get in the United States, which I think is really cool. They're a big civic organization. One thing they wanted me to stress, though, and that's what they would like to see more parent involvement. But the ROTC program is not a recruitment tool for the military. They are forbidden by law from doing that, but they do turn out good leaders. I think it's something like around 94% of ROTC cadets on average. They have like some of the highest attendance, and they have the lowest figures contributing to delinquency in schools. And of course, they push them academically. So however their success is in ROTC, it just builds on what they're going to do after they get done with school. And one thing they're very proud of, and Mr. Marsh was instrumental in this, was the wrapped bus that they drive around in. They say that several schools around and other ROTC units and even the Navy itself sponsoring this program, they are absolutely blown away by the level of support they receive, and a lot of these units are very jealous of that support. But anyway, they're, like always, it's like a waterfall, so here they come, and they're ready for the school year. So all in all, good stuff.
Great. Mr. Baker? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna ask a question to,
No, go ahead.
Could we check in again to see if we can do a wall of fame for the ROTC, to have like Chief Smith and, Baird, Judge Jerry Baird, and some of these people on there like we talked about earlier? I mean, we have an athletic hall of fame. It'd be nice to do something with ROTC, just checking it out with Miss Woodman maybe, or something like that.
I'm sure they'd be open to suggestion, and then maybe do something to honor Captain Rose.
Right.
I do understand that Chief Smith is recovering now. He had a little bit of an episode, but he's currently in a care home over in Black Mountain as of this week, but he's doing better. Yeah, I think they'd be very receptive to that idea. We'll just have to explore that at a later date, but yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I think it'd be a great idea.
Mr. Baker, you're our North Carolina School Boards Association representative, and I know you have 2 items to discuss with us.
Yes, sir, Chairman Frank. School board members, the North Carolina School Board Association's Legislative Committee, of which I am on, wants to hear from you. The committee is made up of almost 24 school board members representing every area of the state. The process to create the NCSBA's draft 2027-28 legislative agenda is already underway. Committee members are seeking input from every local school board member, all of y'all, everywhere. And everywhere in North Carolina, every member, to accurately reflect school districts' top statewide legislative priorities. The results of the legislative survey will be in large part determine those top priorities. You have a voice in this process. Please use it. Remember, the NCSBA legislative agenda is your legislative agenda, and may I say that I found out that they really work hard in the legislature for us in many different ways, many different aspects. All responses must be submitted through the provided link. You should receive this, have received this, and I have it here. It should take no more than 20 minutes, probably as few as 15 minutes. The deadline to submit the survey is Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. Please be sure to click done at the end. If you exit before the exit the survey while in the middle of it, taking it, it should pick up where you left off. This is for school board members only, which is why we ask your name and your district to be placed in the survey. To ease any concerns, we want to emphasize that the NCSBA has a strict policy of not looking at individual responses. Consideration of amendments to the draft NCSBA 2728 legislative agenda, along with a vote for final approval, will occur during the delegate assembly at the NCSBA's 2026 annual conference in November in Greensboro. Should you have any questions, please contact, and we have it, I'll hear Macy Riopel and her number and her email. And she says, thank you so much, Macy Riopel. We also have, you can receive 1 hour credit from the North Carolina School Board Association. The topic is North Carolina College Connect. That's this Wednesday, August the 12th, at from 11 until 12 noon. And you will need to speak to Ms. Smith so that she could register you for that. And we ask that each one of you really try to get that. I think you've already probably had that invitation, but they've asked that everybody try to get that credit hour. That's all, Chairman.
Mr. Baker, I want to commend you for the work that you do there with the School Boards Association. I think it's really important. And board, going to Mr. Suttles had a comment for us, and it was a very legitimate comment about teacher salary. And I definitely, it's one of those when we get to the point of the year where we talk about looking at the differences in that scale. And I understand that the goal with the legislators was to elevate our beginning teacher salary, but it didn't quite hit all the scales the same as it did across the board. So I would encourage you all to consider that. Mr. Suttles, when you mentioned it to me, that is the avenue in order to do that, and I would imagine that would be something that would be that many boards across the state would advocate in that direction as well. But that is the avenue to be able to do that, and not to sound ungrateful, because I'm not. I think the raise that we got this year was exceptional, but it's one of those that we want to continue that process to not be the lower tier ranking that we are for state pay for our staff. So I would just encourage you all to consider that. Thank you.
That is on that part of the
Yes, sir.
survey, that particular topic you just talked about. So that and raises as well. So you're looking after your teachers.
As a school board member, are we allowed to share that on social media to get more people to respond to that? Should anyone know that?
It's not, well, that particular portion is just for school board members only.
Right.
Now,
How about the other board members from other counties?
oh, well, they're putting it out. Of course, not all boards are members of the North Carolina School Board Association, but hey, listen, it's public information, so I don't see a problem at all with encouraging folks to do it.
Don't get me in trouble.
Hey, we'll share jail cell, okay?
You're gonna get out, you got this.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything from the board? Okay, item number 11 on the agenda is approval of consent agenda. And I want to remind everybody that any item may be pulled from the consent agenda with a majority vote for the board and discussed and voted on as a separate item. And if there are none that somebody wants pulled out, then I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed.
I'll make a motion to approve it as printed.
Second. Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Suttles and a second by Mr. Barksdale to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion on the consent agenda? And all those in favor signify by raising the right hand, which is unanimous, 9 vote. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion on the action on closed session items on personnel considerations.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that all the certified and non-certified positions that we discussed in closed session be approved,
In addition, I move that the McDowell County Board of Education enter into an extension of Dr. Tracy Gritt's superintendent contract retroactive to July 1st, 2026, and extending the maximum statutory term to June 30th, 2030.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to second that motion.
Okay, at this time, on the personnel considerations, we have an additional item on there concerning the superintendent's extended contract. And at this time, I'll entertain any discussion that anybody has. Mr. Baker, did you want to say something about?
Well, I'd just like to say that in our opinion, in my opinion, and the board's opinion, Dr. Grett has done an outstanding job, and this staff over here has done an outstanding job, as well as our principals and all this, but we're not really considering you right now, but they, our leader here, he has done an outstanding job. We're looking forward to the new school, looking for the new updates of the high school, West Middle, the entrance, and all that's going on over there. There's just a lot of exciting things going on, and Dr. Gritt is the man behind that, who has put people in place to do a great job as well as he has you folks out there, and we appreciate all he's done and doing, and I'd just like to say thank you.
Is there any further? Okay, with no further discussion, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand, which is a unanimous 9 vote. And item number 14 on the agenda is announcements. We have a Board Finance Committee meeting Wednesday, August 26th, 12 noon, conference room, district office. Welcome reception for Appalachian State University Chancellor Norris, Thursday, August 27th, 2026 at 3 p.m. at the Universal Advanced Manufacturing Center. And Marion, you aware of that, Chuck?
Just real quick, so the chancellor is newly appointed, so it's an opportunity to meet her and network. There is a person from McDowell County that serves as a trustee on the ASU board as well, and there could be opportunity there for collaborative measures. I really hope the whole board will come to that and make it a priority. It's a real opportunity for us.
Okay, we have a board work session Monday, August 31st here in the board room. And we have lead training for board members Thursday, September 10th, 2026 from 9 till 12 noon at Caldwell County Schools Education Center, Lenoir. Got that, Jimmy? Tell Angie about that, okay?
I'll tell him.
Okay. Board of Education regular session meeting Monday, September 14th. And that's what we got on the upcoming calendar. Sir, do you have anything?
I do, yes, sir. Thank you for allowing me a moment. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to the board. I consider this one of the most incredible jobs I've ever had in my life, and I'm honored to continue to support and work here and lead this district, and with the team that we've got in place and that you've allowed us to put in place, and with the principal group that we've got. I do believe what I said earlier about those graduation rates. I think you're going to see us knocking on the door of that top 10 number. There's some really exciting things going on there. Mr. Frank, I wish I could say I could give you 29 years like I've given my wife, but I'm just not going to be able to do that. But I am honored to have the opportunity to work 4 more years here. Thank you so much, board.
Sir, we may not be able to put up with you 29 years.
Well,
some of us will be gone in that time.
I don't know that she's been able to, but it's worked out. It's been an honor.
I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Before we end that,
Oh,
if I
go
could say
ahead.
that, Mr. Frank, good luck this year. All the principals, we are praying for you. If you need anything at all, reach out. If you have students, and we say this every year, if you have students that have needs that's outside of what we provide with the book bags and all that, please, you don't have to send the kids' names or anything. Just send us an email and say, I have 2 young boys that are 7 that don't have pants or whatever it may be. And you can send all requests to Paul Baker since he's got all the money. But, no, in all seriousness, please do reach out. We don't get enough of that, and I would like to help, and I know everybody else would too, so please reach out. But good luck this year.
I make a motion that we adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Schufer to adjourn, a second by Mr. Barksdale. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. And thank you so much. That's unanimous. And Ms. Blank,